we've all got pre-existing immunity at this point, either through vaccines or infection. And the reason for the booster campaign to those most at risk is because their immunity wanes faster, and they're the ones that are most likely to need to have a hospital admission. So for the general population, it continues to be the good advice for respiratory infections.
Our health correspondent Ashish Joshi joins me now from a care home in Bedford, I think. Ashish, in terms of the residents there, they will be among the first groups that are going to be offered this vaccine. Are they keen to take it up?
Yes, good morning, Jane. Yes, it is Bedford. This is the Lilibet Lodge residential home in Bedford, one of about 3,500 sites which have been identified by NHS England to roll out the autumn-winter vaccination programme, COVID and flu injections ahead of the winter. This has been brought forward by about a week because of those concerns. You were talking to the UK HSA's health advisor about the concerns of this new variant, the BA 2.8.6 variant, which isn't a variant of concern at the moment, but we know that the health authorities in this country are looking at this variant because of concerns around transmissibility. And as we've been hearing, this is all about protecting the most vulnerable. Residents in care homes first, and then everyone over the age of 65, and those who are living with compromised immune systems and might otherwise be vulnerable. Let's talk to the Director of Nursing, the Deputy Director of Nursing, Kath Slater. Your team are busy. That's Joan, and that's Joan in the background. They're waiting for their vaccinations this morning. Underway, a very busy time for your nursing staff.
Absolutely, and we've really done a lot of work to make sure that we can vaccinate as many people in the eligible groups as we can, as quickly as we can, so that we can protect people sooner.
And this is all about trying to make sure people like Joan are protected against COVID, against flu, because they are more vulnerable. But it's just to make sure that there are no breakouts in care homes and to stop them becoming very sick and going into hospital and putting pressure on the NHS.
Definitely, and we know that pressures on the NHS become even greater during the winter months, so by kicking off the programme now, we can really make sure that we're well prepared for that time.
Yeah. Jane in the studio was asking about take-up, about residents who want to take the vaccine. We're in a very different place to where we were 2-3 years ago. What is the mood you sense in care homes among residents? Are they keen to get vaccinated?
Obviously, it's early days yet, but from what we've seen so far, people are really quite keen to get vaccinated, and particularly because we can do it, as you can see behind me, actually in care homes, so that people don't have to sort of get out and about. So it's very important that we vaccinate our very vulnerable people very quickly. All
right, before we go, just one question. Some people at home will be sitting here saying, COVID's over. What would you say to them?
COVID is still around, and if people have physical vulnerabilities, then they are still at risk of falling ill from COVID or flu.
OK, Kat, thank you very much. There you are, Jane. That's the mood, the sense you get in care homes. Elderly, vulnerable residents still need protection to get them through the winter from COVID and from flu. This is being rolled out today, and from next week, the 18th, it's been brought forward, remember. People will be able to contact their GPs and make appointments for their own vaccinations if they're over 65 or fall into those vulnerable groups.
Ashish, thanks very much. Now, the rare September heatwave is finally coming to an end. With a high of 33 degrees reached on Saturday, you might have spent the weekend enjoying the sun or trying to cool off in the shade or struggling to sleep even. But for many, the summer fun has come to an end. Some areas of the UK were hit by thunderstorms overnight, including flash flooding, hail and strong winds. Well, let's get a look at the weather in more detail.
Warm memories wherever you go.
To fly.
The weather, sponsored by Qatar Airways.
Well, the next couple of days look unsettled, but it will turn cooler from the northwest. England and Wales are mostly fine now, but there's fog near some Irish Sea coasts and the odd shower in the northwest. Ireland's cooler and cloudier with a little rain in places. South East England, East Anglia and Midlands will stay mostly fine this morning.
The weather, sponsored by Qatar Airways.
Coming up on Sky News Breakfast. Ed Sheeran reveals why he was a no-show at his gig in Las Vegas. Coming up, we're going to talk to Newsweek's chief royal correspondent, Jack Royston, all about Prince Harry.
I'm Inzamam Rashid and I'm Sky's North of England correspondent.